Since time began, gold has been seen as a valuable commodity. And in these troubled times, now more than ever, it is once again a very, very valued commodity. People can keep it as jewelry, they can keep it under their bed. In fact, to have a hoard of gold these days is quite a good thing. Now, most people think gold comes from someplace like a gold shop, like this one behind me here. But in fact, the story is a lot deeper than that. Akara Mining Limited is the Thai subsidiary of the Australian company Kingsgate, which operates the Chatree mine in central Thailand, about 280 kilometres north of Bangkok. Chatree is Thailand's first and only modern gold mine, which commenced operations in November 2001. My good friends from AUSCHAM organised a day trip to visit the mine, where I had a chance to catch up with Phil, the GM. So Phil, can you tell us how the mine works? Because we've been talking in the van on the way here that we'd walk around and pick up nuggets of gold. That's not really what happens, is it?
That's not what happens. The gold here is very, very fine, microscopic. There have been very few, probably a half dozen sightings of visible gold in the over 10 years of operation here and in all the drilling that's been done. So it's very, very fine microscopic gold. In fact, when the mine first started, the local people thought it was a stock scam because they'd never seen gold here. They didn't believe there was a gold mine here.
So how did it come about that you discovered this was a viable place to mine gold?
The original managing director of the company came in here with an exploration team, thought that looked promising for what they call an epithermal gold deposit, found it on the hill that was out there, and that the higher grade sections had come down to the thing, and basically drilled it out till they got 1 million ounces in reserve, then shut down the drilling, took it through to a feasibility study, carried on into construction, etc., and then we restarted exploration. So it's truly a grassroots discovery by a guy who believed there was something here. In fact, his first exploration team, he went bust, as most do, went back to Australia, raised more money, and came back and put a second team together. And that's when they...
So, correct me if I'm wrong, you just mentioned that they pulled 1 million ounces of gold out as part of the exploration feasibility study. 1 million ounces of gold.
Is what they'd found. What they've done is done the drilling, put the geological model together, and basically it's a reserve that's based on what is economic. And so they had 1 million ounces in the reserve to prove the viability of the mine, to actually take it forward, to go ahead and borrow the money from the banks to construct the mine.
With an impressive safety record, this massive operation employs the highest levels of health and safety and environmental controls, with staff training an ongoing and important process. After a tasty lunch, I caught up with a couple of Aussie miners. I found a couple of genuine miners. I'm here with Sean and Ian. How you doing, guys?
Yeah, great. Thanks, mate. Yourself?
Pretty good.
Yeah, good, Billy.
All right, so you guys are from Australia and you're working here with the Akara Gold Mining Corporation. So what are you doing here?
We have equipment here that used in the reline of the grinding mill. We're here to we look after it and service it while it's being used.
Okay. So what do you think of this as an operation? Can you let us know, is it up to standard?
Yeah, well, this is the second time I've been here, and we've had we commissioned our equipment, and then now we're back for the first reline of the SAG mill, and I think it's a great operation. Friendly Thais that we work with, and we can get the work done. It's excellent.
The processing technique takes low-grade gold-infused rocks, crushing them into a fine powder at the plant's impressive grinding circuit. The gold-silver product is then poured as doré bars, using water and reagents to extract the gold, including a weak cyanide solution. Hang on a minute, cyanide? For most people back at home, cyanide is something quite scary. Now, how does cyanide play a role, and what does cyanide code mean in mining?
Okay, cyanide is a chemical we use. A chemical, basically cyanide dissolves gold and silver. So we dissolve the gold and silver with cyanide and absorb it into carbon as part of the recovery process. Cyanide got its bad name during the Second World War, but in reality, cyanide is like any of poison, if you treat it with respect and handle it properly, it's not an issue. In fact, cyanide itself is carbon and nitrogen together. It breaks down very, very quickly and actually makes fertilizer in effect. So, like I say, it's a matter of control of it. What the cyanide code does is, like I say, it's done with the industry organization as well as the United Nations, and it covers right from the manufacture of the cyanide right to the final disposal. So it makes sure that everything is done all the way through. We actually have a cyanide destruction process here. We destroy the cyanide before it goes to our tailing storage facility. We're on a migratory bird path here. We actually have thousands of birds sitting out on the water there. The water out there is less cyanide. If you all had a coffee or a chocolate bar today, basically you've had more cyanide than what's in our pond.
The deposits are located in the Loy Phetchabun volcanic belt, which is composed of remnant oceanic and continental arc complexes, merged into what is now the Asian plate during the Permian-Triassic period. The age of the host rocks and the mineralization is around 250 million years old. To put a business perspective on this, I asked Lee, the AUSCHAM treasurer, what he thought. What sort of future is there for Australian Thai operations like this? Is the gold mining, or is any sort of this sort of exploitation of the countryside, is that going to continue?
Well, it's interesting. Thailand doesn't have a well-developed mining law, so it's very difficult for Australia, and not just Australians, but anybody, even Thais, to develop projects of this type. I mean, there's a couple of Thai projects, one for bauxite that's actually, not bauxite, phosphate, that's actually stalled, and that's a Thai company. So I think these guys have just been unbelievable in terms of what they've been able to achieve, given the lack of law, framework and so forth. This is probably Australia's biggest investment in Thailand.
Yeah, so Phil was saying as well.
Yeah, and we'd like to see a lot more in a lot of different areas. But I'm just so impressed with the effort, the dedication and the persistence that these guys have done and have taken on to get to this. It's impressive.
I think I can see my house from here, huh? No, probably not.